Oh, you need it? Yeah, sure.
She is going to get her laptop.
Okay, perfect. You guys are all set then?
She's got it all translated.
Oh, okay.
So that's why.
You're all set? Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the U.S. Global International Electronics Recycling Summit. This is, I believe, the 5th year the U.S. Department of Commerce and ISRI have partnered to put on this session. And certainly thank ISRI for their assistance and the resources that went into developing this session. This year the summit was created to introduce U.S. recyclers and equipment manufacturers and others to growing opportunities in foreign electronics recycling markets. And this year we're going to feature Brazil and China. We have Beatriz from the Brazilian government to provide an overview of the state of electronics recycling in Brazil and upcoming plans to manage discarded Brazilian electronics. Additionally, we have Ms. Zheng Lixia from Tsinghua University in Beijing, and she'll provide an update on the implementation of that country's regulations and approaches to managing discarded electronics. And I'd like to thank them both for traveling very great distances to be here this morning. You know, the ultimate outcome of the session is intended to be the sharing of U.S. approaches to managing and recycling discarded electronics with our foreign partners, to both advance environmental protection goals as well as to foster international business opportunities. The idea represents the foundation of the U.S. Environmental Export Initiative, which is a project that was announced almost exactly a year ago today at American University in Washington, D.C. by then Secretary of Commerce John Bryson, the then EPA Administrator Jackson, and 2 other cabinet-level officials. And the purpose of that initiative was to seek better leverage between government agencies, to leverage their international environmental engagements, to support U.S. environmental businesses in foreign markets. And that includes, obviously, the recycling sector. The Commerce Department has spent the last year since the announcement of this initiative working with our interagency partners at the EPA, at the State Department, USAID, et cetera, to better integrate U.S. environmental solutions providers into those and their perspectives into government-led environmental engagements with foreign countries. Your industry obviously holds the key to efficient, environmentally sensitive electronics recycling here and abroad. And the U.S. government is engaged in a number of projects to facilitate the introduction of your technologies and your companies to those foreign opportunities. And this session represents just one of those projects. So I encourage you all to take a look at the U.S. Environmental Solutions Exporter Portal. It's sort of the website, the one-stop shop that came out of this initiative. It's on the Commerce website at export.gov. In addition to providing an array of resources for U.S. companies interested in foreign markets, it also provides information to foreign end users, whether foreign environmental officials or foreign end users of environmental technologies, recycling, and other technologies. We have it's in its current state, sort of a beta version. We have a new, more user-friendly, slicker appearance website coming in the next month or so, but there's still worthwhile information worth checking out. It also contains information of use to foreign end users, as I've mentioned, linking information produced by the U.S. government, both regulatory and research-related, in addition to direct links to U.S. businesses that provide environmental technologies. So again, please take a look. So with that, I'd like to introduce Beatriz. And following Beatriz and Zheng Lixia's presentations, we'll have plenty of time for questions and answers as well. So again, I'd like to, here's the agenda. So I'd like to introduce Beatriz Martins Conheiro. She is the General Manager of Analysis and Competitiveness and Sustainable Development at the Brazilian Ministry of Development, Industry, and Trade. She is in charge of the Sustainable Development Agenda, including climate change, solid waste, eco-labeling, and eco-design policy. She has 15 years of experience in environmental law, Advocacy and Sustainable Development, a Master's of Environmental Law from Paris 1 University in Paris, France, and an LLM in Comparative Law from the University of Florida's Levin College of Law. Please welcome Ms. Kanyar.
Thank you, Todd. Good morning, everybody. I would like first to thank our friend at the DOC, Department of Commerce, and ISRI for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here and to show a little bit of our new policy on this new program on management and recycling. So I will just start. Okay. Well, my self-introduction, since Todd has actually introduced myself very well, I will just introduce the ministry and the department where I work, which is in charge of the implementation of the National Solid Waste Management Policy regarding management and recycling. So we are now developing and implementing a take-back system, and so this is what we've been leading in terms of the governmental strategy. It's our ministry that is leading the take back system. The take back for other products are being led by other government partners. So we are in charge more directly in the we take back system and recycling. We are also working on a policy for financial and tax incentives for the implementation of the whole national waste policy, including, of course, the recycling chain. So this is a brief introduction to Brazil. We are now 192 million inhabitants. We have 5,565 municipalities, and we have 8 million square kilometers area. This is the map. And the concentration of people and revenues and incomes is in the south, near Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo. So most of people live in this area. Up there where you see Manaus, it's the Amazon and the forest. So in the whole area, we have only 20 million people living. The rest is along the coast and in the south part. The country is independent in oil. It has approximately 15% of the global drinking water, the largest biodiversity in the world. 46% of our matrix comes from renewable energy, and it has great ethnic and cultural diversity. So Brazilians been growing a lot recently because we have a program, a governmental program that it helps narrowing the gap between the poor and the rich. So we have a huge chunk of our Class D people moving to Class C. So this is it's a growth in the consumers market. So you see that the sales of refrigerators, stoves, and washers are growing very fast in the last five to 6 years. You know, there you have since 2006, it's growing really quickly. Yeah, here you see we have 53% of the population in the middle class, which is about 104 million people. And in 2012, in 2002, we were only 38% of the population in the middle class. So it's an expressive increase. And with this, we're now the 6th largest economy in the world, the 3rd biggest market for computers. We have now operating 256 million cell phones. So it's like the cell phone paradise. And the production of 14 million computers a year and 61 million cell phones a year. So this generates a potential of this is how the we generation is. Here we have, like, in 2013, we have an expectation of we generation in about 918 million tons. No, 918,000 tons in 2003. And we expect to have like 1,200,000 tons in 2016. So it's a growing market that will probably stay in the million tons a year to 2020. These are some of the recycling challenges we've been facing. Is that with these 192 million inhabitants and 5,565 municipalities, so we have like huge distance between cities. You see, if you sell something in Manaus, you will only be able to recycle them in Recife, which is 3,300 kilometers away. And we also lack technologies for recycling some things, especially from the metals recovery. We don't have an industry in this, so we've been selling all our PC boards either to Japan or Belgium, because we don't have the installed capacity in Brazil. Well, the waste generation is currently growing, as I said, 7 to 10% a year. Brazil is the biggest generator of computer waste in BRICS, which is we generate, as I said before, 900 tons a year of we. So also a challenge that we are facing is to improve the system of collection, sorting, recycling, and treatment. This is due to the implementation of the take-back system. We are now working closely in this part. And also to increase, to have the appropriate final disposal. We have a goal to close all landfills by 2014, which is next year. Yet, with all these challenges, Brazil is a global leader in aluminum can recycling with 98%. We also have good numbers in recycling glass, not very well, but recycling paperboard with 70%, and tires with a 92% of the recycling rate. Okay. Talking about the legal framework of national solid waste policy, we have a law which is pretty new. It dates from 2010, and this law is very modern and has many mechanisms that are used in different parts of the world, like US and Europe. And it was the problem with this law is that it stayed in the Congress for 21 years before being approved. So once it was approved, there were already many initiatives in take-back systems that I'm going to show you later, in other things. But since 2020, we have this law. We also have a regulation in the same year, which is very rare in Brazil. Normally, it takes like 2 years to regulate a new law. But since this law was already known by everyone, because it was under discussion for 21 years, when it finally came through, we had the regulation almost ready, so it was very quick. Just one thing that it's important to stay here is that Brazil is a member of the ISRI Convention since 1993. So we do have some some requirements in the exporting of, especially and we are not allowed to import waste of any kind. Okay. So the National Solid Waste Policy, the law that I just mentioned, it's a set of principles, objectives, instruments, guidelines for the environmentally sound management of solid waste. We have some four main principles, which is the joint responsibility for the life cycle of products. So manufacturers, importers, retailers, consumers, and public authorities are responsible for the life cycle of products. We have also an hierarchy of actions, which is non-generation, reduction, reuse, recycling, treatment, and appropriate final disposal in landfill. The take-back systems, they are supposed, and we have the take-back system for some products, including and the take-back system can be implemented through a sectorial agreement, which is a contract signed by the government and the manufacturers, importers, distributors, aiming to implement the common responsibility for the life cycle of products. Okay, so the national policy requires that manufacturers, importers, distributors, and retailers design and implement a take-back system with return of products after their use by the consumers. The country has about 5,500 municipalities, and as is stated in our constitution, the municipalities are in charge of implementing the solid waste management and policy. So they can have their own rules, but it has always to be more restricted to the federal law. But still, it's a challenge for us to have an harmonization of the rules, and especially for the manufacturers, importers, and the distributors, it is really a challenge because you need to operate through the whole country, and you cannot have a rule different from the other. So we are doing a very huge effort with the harmonization of the rules in the municipalities. Okay. Okay, now this is the last paragraph. It's about the industrial needs. So like some kind of technology, but I think this is not very useful. So now, the take-back systems. So the law states that we have to have take-back systems for pesticides and their packages, batteries, tires, lubricant oil and their packages, lamps, medicines, and packages in general. The red ones, the take-back system in the red ones, were already implemented before the law, because since those are very sensitive materials in Brazil, we had regulations that stated that we had to have a take-back system. So this is fairly implemented. Then we have a high rate of recycling for tires and pesticides. Pesticides around 94%. So this is fairly structured. And now we are working to implement the take-back system for lamps, medicines, and packages in general. Okay. The packages for lubricant oil. Okay. So now this is the status of the take-back system agreements for the sectors I just mentioned. So for the packages for lubricant oil, the agreement was signed in December 2012. For lamps, the proposals are being reviewed by the Ministry of the Environment, because this is how it works. The government publishes like a public calling announcement saying how the system is going to work in broad aspects. And then the sectors, the four sectors, importers, manufacturers, retailers, and distributors, they present their proposals. And so this is being evaluated by the Ministry of Environment, the proposals for lamps and the proposals for packages in general. For we published the public calling announcement in February 2013, and we are waiting for the proposals from the sectors. In the medicines, we are doing a feasibility study, and the public calling is being prepared. So we plan to publish it soon. So the other sectors, as I mentioned, are under the Ministry of Environment. They are coordinating all this. Only the process is being led by the Ministry of Industry and Environment and Development and Trade. So in broad terms, this is how it works. The consumers, they give the products back to the distributors or retailers. The distributors and retailers, they receive the products from consumers and give them back to producers and importers. And then in the producers and importers, they give proper and environmentally sound destination to the products. It sounds really easy, and this is how the law put this. The law said that it's written there very clear, and it seems very easy. Oh no, the law has already done everything, so this is how it's going to work. But it's not very easy, because if you have a small shop in Rio or in Manaus, and you need to send it to the producers, and the producers, the plants, are mainly in especially for in the Amazon region near Manaus, so it's like 4,000 kilometers away. So how you, a small shop, is going to give the products back to the producers? So this is what they are trying to figure, and we are expecting them to come with a very decent proposal to fill in all these blanks. So, okay, this is just an image. So there we have the collecting point, and then the transportation goes to some kind of sorting plant, and then it's going to be destined for recycling, and after that for final and sound, environmentally sound destination. We think that the whole take-back system will cost, take-back system for will cost, when it's fully implemented in 2020, around 515 million reais a year for the system. So, as I mentioned, we have just published the public calling announcement. So the scope is that all kinds of domestic has to be included in the take-back system. What is excluded? All capital goods. From major generations. If you are a company and you have like 4,000 computers, and you cannot give them back in the take-back system, you have to have your own management plan. And it also excludes medical appliances. Okay. So the calling announcement established some goals that the sectors will have to reach 5 years after the sectorial agreement signature. We are expecting to sign this agreement in the second semester, probably in October or November. So 5 years later will be like 2018. So the goals are to implement a permanent take-back system in 100% of the municipalities with a population of over 80,000 people. In the municipalities where the permanent take-back system is implemented, there will be a collecting point for each 25,000 people. And another goal that is established is that the collection and proper destination of 17% in weight of what was sold in the international market the year before the sectorial agreement signature. And the goals are going to be revised in 5 years from 2013, so in 2018. With these goals, you will see there that in 2018, we will have a permanent coverage of approximately 350 municipalities, which less than 10% of the total municipalities in Brazil, but it will take 77.1% of total we generation, because the generation of we is very concentrated in the areas that I mentioned before, along the coast and in the south. So this is why we define this goal, because it's a cost-effective kind of thinking. If you have a permanent take-back system in 350 municipalities, you can have like 77% of the total we generation. So from 2018, periodical campaigns is going to happen in every municipality under 80,000 inhabitants. So the public calling announcement was published February 13th. The sectors have 120 days to present their proposals. Then the proposals go to public consultation, and after that we have a sectorial agreement signed. So we expect them to be in the second semester of 2013. These are the challenges that we map in our feasibility studies, which are the responsibility and funding to treat orphan waste. What we call orphan waste, it's the waste from products that are illegally imported, not illegally reported. Sometimes people go abroad, come to the US, go to Europe, and they buy a new computer and then take it back with them. This is not illegal, but since there is no importer responsible for this, who is going to pay for the recycling of this product? It's going to be either it's going to be the whole system, which is the local fabricants, the local producers, and they are not very happy with this. And also we call orphans products that were made by local industries that no longer exist. This will not for computers or cell phones, but for refrigerators and some other kinds. There used to be some producers, and they don't exist anymore in the country, or they moved their business abroad. So who is going to be in charge of, who is going to pay for the recycling and the take-back system for these products? So this is a challenge that we're facing. Another one is that for us, the waste is considered hazardous waste. And once it's considered hazardous waste, all the process has to be environmentally licensed. You have to have a permit for the collection points, for the transportation, and this is it's very it costs a lot, and it's very difficult. It's not difficult, but you have to have all permits, and it increases the cost of the whole thing. So we are trying to come with a regulation that will will treat the WEEE as a non-hazardous waste in the logistic phase before going to recycling. Once it gets to the recycling facility, it will still be considered hazardous waste. The other thing is the joint responsibility is to define the cooperation between all the actors, and how the governance and the governance of the system, and how the costs are going to be shared. because as I mentioned, the four sectors, the producers, the importers, the retailers, and the distributors, they are in charge of implementing the take-back system at their own account. So this one challenge is to know how it's going to be the governance of the system and how they are going to share the costs. Another challenge is to promote the consumer action, because Brazilian consumers, they don't have the habit to give their products for recycling. Normally they keep those products at home because they paid very good money for them, so they keep it, or they give it to someone that has less income. So you buy a new cell phone and you give your old cell phone to your younger sister or something like this, and so it's a challenge to promote the consumer action. And if the consumer doesn't give the products to the system has no way to go there and get the products. So we need really to assure that the consumer is going to be part of it. Also, a challenge is to promote the reuse, because under the hierarchy of the actions that I showed before, the reuse comes first, before recycling. So we need to have a way to, during the take-back system, to have a door out for reuse. And the other challenge, the last one, is the innovation in the recycling technology, transfer and development. Because as I said, we don't have the technology installed to recycle all we. Oh, shoot. The opportunities we see is that the job creations, we think that once the industry, the recycling industry will develop, we will create more jobs. Also, to reduce the incorrect disposal of we, and reduce the energy consumption. Okay. Now, this is what I had to say about the policy and how the we take-back system is going to work in Brazil. Now, this is a program that the government has. This is the Ministry of Science and Technology and Innovation. They have a program which is called Ambientronic, Eco-Friendly Electronic Products, that aims to contribute to integrate government, universities, research centers and industry in order to support the sustainability of the electronics sector. They support the adequacy of the Brazilian electronics industry to national and international environmental legislation. They create the necessary infrastructure for developing environmentally conscious technologies and support the development of social enterprises. So this is the main aspects of the program, which is a very interesting program because it puts together in the same table the government, the industries, and so we are having very good results from this program. And we recently launched a Brazilian standard for recycling. It's a ISO-based regulation, which was published in March 18th, and it sets standards for recycling, taking into account the environmental protection based in ISO 14001, also occupational health and safety, taking into account OSAS 18001, the traceability of and also the data safety. And talking about investments, Brazil has a program and a policy to give some benefits for people who wants to invest in Brazil, even foreign companies. It includes tax reduction, federal taxes, local incentives, which is state and local taxes, financial support by the Brazilian Bank of Development. Yes, mostly. So we have some programs at the Brazilian Investment Bank, Development Bank, and the Brazilian Public Bank. Well, yes, that's it. This is what I had to tell you today, and I am open for any questions. I'm not sure how this is going to work, Todd. Questions after?
I think we'll, after Ikhia's
After?
presentation,
Okay.
we'll take
Okay.
a
So
few
thank
questions
you
and
very
answers.
much for your attention.
Okay, good morning. My name is Li Xiazheng from ISRI Convention Coordinating Center for Asia and the Pacific. This center is located in Tsinghua University, Beijing, China. I would like to introduce the e-waste collection and recycling in China. I will introduce following contents: e-waste issues, regulations, current collection and recycling, and opportunities and challenge. So this is a legal definition of e-waste regulated in the administrative measures for the prevention and control of environmental pollution by e-waste adopted by the Ministry of Environmental Protection in 2007. The e-waste means waste electric and electronic equipment and their waste parts and components, as well as other items and substances regulated by the related departments. The e-waste will include waste products and equipment in industrial activities, the waste manufactures and leftovers, scrap products produced during the process of maintenance, refurbishment, and reproduce waste products or equipment from the consumer and service provided activities and other products and equipment banned on producing or import. In China, this is the main source of e-waste. There are two kinds of source. One is the social source. This waste generation from the consumers, such as the residents, the governments, and other group consumers like enterprises. And the other kind source is from the e-product manufacturer during the process of production. This is a e-waste generation estimation generated domestic in China. It's a fast growing. And you can see in 2011, the amount is about 3.5 million tons. And additionally, a lot of e-waste were imported due to illegal import each year, and this data has is not clear. Now we move to the regulations and policies related to e-waste. There are a series of regulations and policies on e-waste in China. The first one was adopted in 2003. It's technical policies on pollution prevention and control for waste batteries. In 2006, the technical policies for pollution prevention and control of waste household appliances and electronic products was adopted. And also in 2006, the pollution control management method for electronic information products was adopted by the Ministry of Information and Industry. We also called it Chinese laws. These are the current main regulation on e-waste in China. The first one is was adopted in 2007 is administrative measures for the prevention and control of environmental pollution by e-waste. The second one is the regulation for the administration of recycling and treatment of waste, waste electric and electronic equipment. This regulation was adopted in 2009 by the State Council. We also called it Chinese WEEE Directive. Now I would like to introduce the details Chinese WEEE Directive, which was effective since 2011. The purpose is to regulate the recovery and disposal of e-waste activities. Under the Chinese WEEE, there are the following main contents, include scope and the two systems, the collection system and the permit system for e-waste enterprises. It also regulates the funds, the establishment of e-waste treatment funds will be included, and the development plan for the e-waste enterprises at provincial level should be established, and as well as the centralized disposal area will be established. This is the catalog. In 2010, the catalog of disposal of waste, electrical and electronic equipment was adopted. At present, it issued the first list, including 5 types of e-waste, such as television, refrigerator, computer, air conditioner, and washing machine. In order to implement the WEEE directive, this regulation, there are also several supporting policies adopted. The plan, in 2010, the notice on the formation of the development plan of the treatment and disposal of e-waste, and also in 2010, the guide on the development plan of the treatment and disposal of e-waste was adopted. These two documents is to provide the guide to the provincial government to establish the plan of e-waste facilities and industry. And in 2010, the administrative measures on the qualification permit of the treatment and disposal of waste, electrical and electronic, and the guide on qualification, verification and approval on treatment enterprises of waste was adopted. This is the guide and method to how to establish the permit system for the e-waste recycling and treatment enterprises. The funds. In 2012, the administrative measures on collection and use for the treatment fund of e-waste was adopted, and it was effective since July in 2012. As well as the information system, there is also a guide on establishment of data information management system and information submission of treatment enterprises of e-waste. At present, the administrative measures for collection of e-waste is in consulting, which will be adopted by the Ministry of Commerce. Now I move to the current collection and recycling of e-waste. This is a data from the Ministry of Commerce under the policy of Old for New, which is a collection policy adopted by the Ministry of Commerce, and which is conducted from 2010 and to 2011. From the data from Ministry of Commerce, in 2011, totally 92.5 million units of waste household appliances were collected. This is the current status in collection. There are many kind of collection channels, such as the individual collectors, second-hand market, repair stores, and also collected by the production enterprises, by directly collected by the treatment enterprises and other, such as the Ministry of Commerce collection network. Now, for the e-waste recycling enterprises, there are two main regulations to regulate their activities. One is the administrative measures for the prevention and control of e-waste pollution by e-waste, which was adopted in 2008. It regulates the e-waste enterprises should be included in the catalog by the provincial government. And the second one is the WEEE directive, where it's the regulation for the administration of recycling and treatment of e-waste in 2011. It also regulates the qualification permit for e-waste recycling and dismantling, and the scope will be the five kinds of e-waste, such as TV sets, washing machine, and computers. So now this is the development of e-waste treatment enterprises. Many of e-waste facilities has been included in the planning and get the permits from the government. And in some enterprises, the best available technologies has been used, and financial support by the funds will be provided to the permitted e-waste facility and enterprises. This is the current situation about the distribution of e-waste dismantling and recycling enterprises. Totally 64 enterprises in 22 provinces were established, and they get the permits, and they have the permit to get the funds for e-waste treatment. Now I would like to share the opportunity and the challenge on e-waste management in China. So about the management, the regulations, and the consciousness should be improved. And other than the 5 types of e-waste, other waste should also be included, should also be under management. Collection problem, at first lack of the formal method, formal channel for e-waste collection, and also the network collection is not covered the rural area. Dismantling, at present the dismantling amount of the current e-waste enterprises cannot reach the desired capacity because of the collection problem. And the recycling of key components, lacks of equipment and related technology. The recycling, at present most e-waste treatment enterprises have the dismantling capacity and equipment, but only a few of them has the recycling capacity, which is still on the initial stage. So based on this status and according to the current regulations and policies in China, on the e-waste industrial, the large-scale comprehensive enterprises and the centralized treatment fields, it means centralized treatment areas, will be the development direction. Okay, thank you very much. And I also would like to introduce the 8th International Conference on Waste Management and Technology. This conference was organized by our center since 2005, and every year we will be held once. So the 8th will be organized in October in Shanghai, China, and there are many topics such as e-waste management, hazardous waste policies, and technology. So welcome you to attend. I also have a leaflet. If you are interested, welcome to have it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Licia and Beatrice, for your presentations. Does anyone in the audience have questions, follow-up questions on the presentations? Yeah, please.
From a perspective of learning, how would a U.S. company go about finding registered or licensed recyclers in Brazil and China?
The Ministry of Environmental Protection, yeah, and the Provincial Environmental Bureau were also in charge of this issue.
Do you want to use this?
Okay. At national level, it's in charge of by the Ministry of Environmental Protection, and provincial level, e-waste Environmental Bureau.
I'm not sure. Not work? Yes, it's work. Okay. I'm not sure I got the question.
So from the perspective of the respective countries, it sounds like that there are either take-back programs put together or licensed or certified recyclers, dismantles or filters. So from the standpoint of the United States company would like to partner with a recycler in a province or in a state, how would we find those licensed or registered recyclers?
Oh, okay. Brazil has a development and agency, which is called Apex. And I think I can put you in contact with someone there, and she can help you to get in touch with the local recyclers and the local partners, right? This is what you're asking me. Okay. Yeah, we have an agency that is in charge of to develop the Brazilian products, but also to attract investments to Brazil. So I think they can help you. She was supposed to come actually to the event, but she had it has the Hanover Expo in Hanover in Germany. It's at the same time, so she had to go there. But I can put you in touch with them.
Morning. My question is for Beatrice. Given how quickly you're going to implement the take-back programs and how little infrastructure there is the Brazilian government going to allow for export of some of that material, and particularly out of Manaus, which is tax exempt, as you know? Are there going to be any adjustments to the large amount of paperwork and creating, how do I explain this? When we bring material out of Manaus, we have to create an entire inventory demonstrating that it's scrap so that the OEMs are not taxed back. Okay. Very tedious. Is there going to be any changes in that to ease the export of some of this material until the infrastructure is in place?
Okay, so you mean like a fast track? Or
Something
like
along
this?
those lines. Given the large increase in if the take back works, because currently getting material out of Manaus, for instance, is incredibly challenging.
Okay, nice to hear your feedback in this. Well, as I mentioned, we have a working group working in the all areas to try to facilitate the whole system. So we are working on better financial conditions, we are working on tax reductions, and we can also work, I'll take notes, and then I believe we can also work on this. It's always difficult because we also have the Basel Convention thing, so we need to work between the things, but, yes, and now Brazil does not apply any extra taxes for the exportation of waste in any kind. However, of scrap actually.
However, in Manaus, because it's tax exempt, if you don't prove that it is scrap, then the OEM needs to pay the tax that they saved when they brought the parts in the manufacturer.
Okay, I understand.
That's the challenge that we encounter, is how difficult it is to create the proper inventory to demonstrate it's scrap so that the OEM isn't taxed back.
Okay, so I'll take note of it. Thank you very much for your question, and I'll give you my card after.
Okay.
Are there additional questions? Beatrice had a question for you. In terms of, I think you mentioned there's a public comment period on one of the e-waste proposals in Brazil. Is there a mechanism? It sounded like you were soliciting input from Brazilian industry. Is there an opportunity for U.S. industry and U.S. government, particularly the people in this room, to also help share best practices, exchange their points of view in that public comment period, or is that something generally, basically, primarily for the domestic sector? Because I would imagine, later on down the line, if you're looking for technology exchanges and so on, it'd be important to get the perspective of electronics recyclers that have a lot of experience in that area, U.S. or otherwise.
Wow, this is great. The public consultation is open, but the thing is it's in Portuguese,
Yeah.
so it's always a challenge. But Todd, as we talked before, I think it would be great if we could arrange some kind of conference or something that we can bring people together and talk, because your experience is very valuable for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Another question for Brazil. Can you comment in terms of the political climate from the perspective of any changes to being able to import from the United States used electronics into Brazil? Or does that continue to be a problem?
Yeah, well, electronics, you mean like, okay, no, Brazil has a very strong policy that we don't import consumers' good, used consumers' good, or used or refurbished. We do import, we can allow the importation of capital goods, used or refurbished, if we don't have local production. Then this we can have a waive. So in capital goods, yes, but not in consumers' goods.
Okay. Additional questions? Could you please step up to the microphone? I think we're having some problem here.
A question for Mrs. Shane, speaking English and for the benefit of the audience. What is, in terms of the subsidy in China for the recycling facilities of those e-waste, is there any, is based on quantity or is based on the initial startup money for the firm to take off?
Chinese now?
这个中国这个补贴，它是针对企业的这个根据它的量上面这个来统计之后补贴呢，还是一个一次性的这种资金呢？
It's based on the amount of actual it's based on the actual amount of recycling. Yeah.
As perhaps a follow-up question to that, it sounds like the treatment fund, the WE treatment fund is up and running, that there's money, and it sounds like permits have been granted to the various provinces to establish these facilities. You know, and this may actually be the original question, the first question that came up. Like, what is the process by which, I mean, it sounds like, you know, the permits are only probably going to government entities, provincial entities, not necessarily foreign recyclers, US recyclers that want to set up shop there. But nonetheless, you would imagine there are tons of procurement opportunities for US companies and foreign companies to sell to these developing facilities. Is there a mechanism by which, you know, these companies, the municipalities, the provincial facilities will be issuing tenders or other procurement opportunities for foreign technology providers? Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're establishing 60 facilities. They're going to need equipment. They're going to need, you know, people to know how to operate a facility and so on. And it probably will have to be imported, I would imagine, a lot of that expertise and technology.
At present, there are totally 64 permitted e-waste enterprises for treatment and recycling, and most of them just engaged in dismantling, not recycling. So the recycling capacity is lack. But from the policy level, I think there's no encourage policy to import the equipment or technology. But I think it's a business, it's a market behavior. So I think it's possible.
Is there sort of a list of the facilities that are currently being developed or actually running? Are any of them actually currently dismantling electronics, or is it still sort of in the planning phase?
Now it's operational period, yeah, and actually it's under the processing for the funds, but there has no one, no enterprises get the funds because of it's under how to say under 在审核中怎么说？
under review.
Yeah, under review.
Thank you.
Follow-up question on that, because I'm really interested in this topic, is that, is there any, this fund is national, does not discriminate against foreign entities or domestic, national entities. 就是国民待遇方面，就是统一的，国内的企业和外国企业是同等待遇是这样。
It's the same. Yeah, if it's under the list, if the enterprises is included in the list, yeah, it's same. Yeah.
Okay, last chance for questions. Anyone? All right. Well, thanks again to our speakers, and thanks for coming. It's another summer draft. Thank you.